Going over last night's homework, the name of this form is what? Standard. Very good. So as soon as you know what form it is, especially as we're getting better with using it, I recommend actually writing the general form above. What's the general form for standard? AX squared plus BX plus C. Like on the piecewise part of the test, people who had the most success were people who jotted little notes, like when they were writing piecewise. Piece 1, M equals B equals. Piece 2, M equals B equals, all throughout. So the more work you show, the better. And for those of you who want to come retake, we'll sit down and actually go question by question through your test and see where you struggled and actually talk about it and take notes. So coming to see me will be a great thing. Just let me know and we'll make plans, okay? Hopefully before the end of the quarter, so like next week. Now that we have our general form written above, what's A? Just the constant term, so -2. Leave x squared out of it, just -2. What's B? And C? Good. How many people got that on their own? Great. How do I calculate the vertex? What notes did we take yesterday? Yep. Great job. So I'm over here, I'm going to write vertex, xb equals -b divided by 2a. What will that look like?
-12 over 2 times 7.
Where do we get these numbers?
From the side.
From over here. So here's -b, -12 is -b. The 2 is part of the formula, and here I made sure I put a in parentheses. Now let's figure out what this is. What is this? -12 divided by -4 is 3. Am I done finding the vertex?
No.
No. What do I still need to go find? The y value. How are we going to do that? Careful. C is the y intercept. How do we find yv? Reason. If I have an x value, how would I find the y value? That's it. Plug it in. So let's plug it in. So f of 3. What will that look like? Plus 12 times 3 minus 5. So to find the y value, just like you've done since forever, we're plugging it back into the formula we know. So go ahead and work through your order of operations or use your calculator, preferably without the calculator, and then just use it to check your answer. What is this going to be? What would you do first here? Exponents. So 3 squared is 9 times -2. Yep. And then I need to do -18 plus 36 minus 5, and I get what?
13.
Give you a chance to try it. Let's try it on your calculators. Don't just watch. Try. 13? Yeah. Who got 13? Awesome. So if I put this together, what's my vertex?
3, 13.
Very good. What other characteristics can we say? How do you know that?
-a.
So -a opens down. Any other characteristics? Very good. With standard form, I do know my y-intercept. C is the y-intercept. So my y-intercept at -5. Any other characteristics? Can we talk about domain and range? Domain will always be all real numbers, so domain, all real numbers. How about the range? Did anybody draw themselves a little sketch to help themselves out? Let's draw a sketch. You told me this opens up or down? Down. And here's my vertex, 313. So when I come in from the bottom, what is it going to be for the range? And when I come in from the top, what's the largest y value? 13. Bracket or parenthesis? Bracket, solid dot. Very good. AOS, x equals 3. Very good, because axis symmetry goes through the x value of the vertex. Anything else? What is the shift? I heard one from over here. Anybody over there? What was my shift given these values for the vertex? Shift where? Shift where? Right? How many? 3. Shift up 13. All of this came from our notes from yesterday. Any last one? Can we say how many intercepts it's going to have? How do you know? It does have 2 because it's been shifted up and opens down. And that was one of the strongest questions on the test. That was great. So that same strength you had with absolute value, it transfers right over to this question with quadratic functions. Very good. Let's move on to number 2. What formula is number 2 in? Intersect form. Intercept, not intersect. Intercept form. Anybody remember the general form for intercept form?
A times x minus 2 x minus 2.
Good. What's A? P? Why is it a -7? Yes, and I see a positive, which means a negative was plugged in. And again, that's a concept we're comfortable with because that also happened with our absolute value function. Very good. Q? 9. Very good. Any questions on how we got 3, -7, or 9? Just in case we're using a highlighter and I can help you see it a little better. In my formula, I have a -p. So here, if I see a +7, we agreed that what kind of 7 was plugged in right there? Negative. Here, minus q, I see a -9. So what was plugged in there? +9. We're just pulling those values right out of each factor. The vertex, in words, what did we say about the vertex for intercept form? It's halfway between what and what? Check your notes if you're not sure.
It's halfway to the x-intercept.
Yes. Halfway. And what are the x-intercepts represented by? Halfway between x-intercepts. P and Q. So how do I find that number? Do I know my x-intercepts?
Yes.
Yes. What are they? So someone else, because I know we're all thinking the same thing, but it's just early and we haven't finished our coffee. How am I going to find that value? What did we say we're going to do? Find the average. How are you going to find the average of -7 and 9? Add them together. -7 plus 9. And then what? Divide by 2. What's that going to equal? Good. What could I have put right here to help myself out? What are we actually finding?
The vertex.
Which part of the vertex?
The x.
So xv equals 1. Now that I know the x value of the vertex, how do I go find the y value? Plug it in, plug it in. Go for it. We know what you're getting. Any questions? Miss C is here to help. So if you have a question on the notes, she'll be up to help. Question, Malaysia. Ah, so that's not wrong. That's not wrong. So she's saying she distributed the 3 in order of operations. What comes first? Parentheses. So if there's something inside parentheses I can do first, I want to do that first. So that's why we're going to do the 1 plus 7 first. So what do we get for the y value of the vertex? Raise your hand if you got negative 192. Awesome. Putting that together as an ordered pair, what comma what? Yes. Can I leave characteristics to you now that you have an idea of what it was looking for? Are we good with characteristics, or we want to talk about them again? I know it's Friday. Talk to me. Go for it. So I'll give you a minute. Try for characteristics, and then I'll have you check in with someone else first, and then check in with me. Tiana, working on characteristics? So first look at A. Okay. Can you work with her and talk to her about what you're writing so that way she can catch up while you work? Sound like a plan? Okay. Yes.
You know how you call X intersection?
Yes.
What do you call Y intersection?
That has no special name. Do we know it? We'll come to that question once we talk about characteristics. All right, let's share. Who's got one? Someone I have not heard from yet. Olivia. Say that one more time.
The axis of symmetry is 1.
Axis of symmetry is x equals 1. Very good. Who else has one? Ashley. Bracket 1 comma infinity. Do you guys agree with that range? Did anybody draw a sketch? Who drew a sketch? Who's about to draw a sketch? Everybody. Does this open up or down? Up. The more, if you give yourself a picture, it really helps. So I'm going to draw something that opens up. We're about to decide. So here's my vertex, 1 comma negative 192. Now that I have the picture, do we agree with Ashley? We might want to just tweak this just a little bit. Well, coming from the bottom, I definitely hit a solid point. But range is all about x values or y values? The y values. So how can we update this just a little bit? Yes. There we go. So that's where a picture really can help make sure that you pull the correct value. For domain, for range, we're always talking about the y value. What other characteristics do we have? Positive A, opening up. I'm not sure how much I can fit, but we'll talk about them. Positive A opens up. How about the shift? Right 1, down 192. How do we know if there's, how many roots does this one have? Yes, because it has been shifted down and opens up.
And we found them.
And we did find them. One more to talk about. What form is this one in? It is in vertex, but it's kind of sneaky. Why is it kind of sneaky?
Because A is like 5 minus 1/2.
Yeah, where does this 5 technically belong? We could rewrite this. We can rearrange this. We have the ability to do that. Negative 1/2 times x plus 8 all squared. What would this be?
Plus 5.
Plus 5.
Oh.
It just took that k value and kind of stuck it in the front on you.
Why?
It's just being sneaky.
You could do that?
Oh, I won't do it too often, but I do want you to realize you can rearrange your equations. What's A? Yes. H. Careful. Negative 8. Look at the original form. What is this inside parentheses in general? X minus H. So if I see a positive value, it means that a negative value got plugged in, just like with absolute value. There was a strong connection yesterday to that. What's K?
5.
Yes. What is incredibly nice about this form? What do I get? Yes. What's my vertex? Very good. Now, coming back to Taisha's question, she said, well, what about the y-intercept? What's the only form that I get the y-intercept right away? Standard. For the others, calculation would be involved. Way back in Algebra 1. Does anybody remember how you found graphing by intercepts? To find the x-intercept, you let y equals 0. To find the y-intercept, you let x equals 0. Same principle applies here. So if I did ever ask you that and I don't give you standard form, it would be expected you recall that Algebra 1 skill. Right? Characteristics, can I leave to you? We're good? All right. Let's transition into some notes for today. And for the purpose of making sure I get to do some solid examples, I'm actually going to pass out your homework, and we're going to work on the homework. I know it's been a big week for us, test week, and the start of a new unit. You guys have done great. So to say thank you for all of your hard work, the notes will be built into the homework. Now, the front page of this is purely vocab that refers back to what we did yesterday. We're not going to be focusing on the front. That's for you. You all can do that later. Yes, I will at the end. We can do that for you. So the first page, ignore. Well, don't ignore. You'll do it later on your own. There we go. Still have your notebooks out because we'll do board notes side by side. But as soon as we jot notes down, we're going to practice. So turn to number 12. It's on the inside page. If you write small and you can fit what I write, use your judgment. If you know you write big and you want to put this as board notes in your notebook, do that. If you think you can fit it in the space, fit it in the space. Step 1, mentally decide what form is this? Standard. So as soon as I say, ooh, I have standard form, step 1, calculate vertex. And when you're working, you don't necessarily need to write the calculate side of things, but I would like at a minimum for you to write the word vertex and put it in a box, because then I'll know, oh, this is where they're calculating the vertex. So for example, on the test, sometimes I just couldn't understand what you were trying to tell me. So jot me a little note if you need to. When we're doing a standard form question, write the word vertex and put it in a little box, and I'll know, oh, right here, they're calculating the vertex first. How do we calculate the x value of the vertex? It will be negative b over 2a. And for as long as we're still kind of getting comfortable with this, I think it's a good idea to write it. What is a, b, and c? A is 1, b is, and c? Okay, so what would negative b over 2a look like for this one?
4.
Yes, because I'm going to have a negative 4, so for an in-between step, I'll put that. But your classmates who are just saying 4, it's because they see the double negative. The negative is built into my little mini formula here, and I am plugging in a negative 4, divided by 2 times 1. So what does this end up becoming? 4 divided by 2, which equals 2. Am I done finding vertex? No. What do you have to do with the 2? Yes. How? Yeah. So f of 2. Once we're working with graphing calculators at this point, I would be comfortable if you wrote, just show me what it looks like substituting it in. And from here, go ahead and use your calculator to get the answer. So 2 squared minus 4 times 2 plus 7.
It does order of operations by itself.
As long as you make sure you use your parentheses. What do we get for 2 squared minus 4 times 2 plus 7? 3? Who got 3? Good. Make sure you're using parentheses. Show your calculator to a friend if we're not sure. So what's my vertex? Yes. That is my first step always when I have standard form. Step 2, set up XY table with vertex in middle. You'll see what that looks like. Set up XY table with vertex in the middle. Not an arrow. XY. I'm literally going to put the vertex in the middle. I want 2 points above and 2 points below. So from 2, can you count backwards? 2, 1, 0, and then count forward 2, 3, 4. And again, notice my vertex is sitting right in the middle. Step 2 complete. That's it. Set it up. Well, that's what I'm about to ask. So what was that really nice quality about parabolas where if you fold it in half, it's the same? What's that called? Symmetrical. So what that means is you guys actually get to choose 2 numbers and you get 4. What I mean by that is you can choose to substitute in 0 and 1 or 3 and 4. Because this is a symmetrical function, f of 1 equals f of 3. It's going to be the exact same. Opposite would send it this way. And you can, on your own, if you want to prove to yourself you get it twice, you can. But how far away is 1 from 2? 1. How far away is 3 from 2?
1.
So these values are equal. How far away is 0 from 2? 2. How far away is 4 from 2? 2. So these values will also be equal. So just by doing 2 calculations, we're going to actually fill in this whole table. So let's make like a common sense vote here. What's easier to work with, 0 and 1 or 3 and 4?
0 and 1.
Let's do it. Do I actually already know f of 0?
Yeah. Oh, no. That is.
Very good. Where are they getting that from? The y-intercept. Now, if you didn't see it, that's fine. Go ahead and calculate f of 0, and you'll get 7. Okay? So 3, calculate y values. And sometimes that's not always going to, it's not always going to be the case that 0 is in your table. But, come on. If you have it, use it. Hello? So where they're getting that from is the c value is 7. That's how I know. If this is 7, what else is 7? Right away. because of that symmetrical quality. Prove it to yourself right now if you want. Do f of 4, because we didn't do f of 0, so go do f of 4. We're going to prove it to ourselves right now. Yes? Good question. Technically, yes, but notice how we're working on a 10 by 10 grid. So you start picking things that are too big. Remember, we're squaring values, so it's going to get big fast, which is why we will always stay 2 directly to the left and 2 directly to the right of the vertex. Great question. So right now, everybody is working on f of 4 because we are going to prove to ourselves that we get 7. Calculate it. It works, right? So f of 4 will be 4 squared minus 4 times 4 plus 7. What are you guys getting for that? Pretty awesome. Because they're quadratic, because of that symmetry. Because you're saying no matter where you go, if you're going the same distance away, the way that U shape is created is that it is the same distance up. It is the same distance up. It is the same distance up. That's what makes the U. So do we want to do f of 1 or f of 3?
F of 1.
So let's do f of 1. So that'll be 1 squared minus 4 times 1 plus 7. Tell me what you get. Again, at a minimum, I want to see the setup, and then you can use your calculator. Who got, what'd you get? 4? Who got 4? Class vote is 4? If your partner didn't get 4, can you check in with them? Maybe they forgot parentheses. But I believe we're correct with our 4. Where does 4 go in the table?
1.
Final step. Plot your points and you're done. Now, what would be a red flag if you plot these points and what happens? It's not a symmetrical. What should the shape be? So if you're getting something crazy and it's not a U, that's a red flag. We don't. Do I need to graph this with you, or you're good to graph points?
Can we just do like the first one?
Sure. Oh, I thought I printed it to Smart Notebook. I did not. All right, I'm going to sketch mine, but you can follow. Yes? So what's my first ordered pair? So what is that as a set of directions? Yes, but where am I going to go? Like, how am I going to graph that? Right, 2, up, 1, 2, 3. All right, now where? What's my next order pair? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 0, 7. Okay. Because it's narrow. So when you sketch, make sure you clearly put a U quality to it and not absolute value. And I'm done.
When you draw it, is it just going to go up from, like, is it going to have like a U shape? Or
it'll always be a U that either opens up or down.
Good morning,
Yes.
East River High School. Today is October 23rd. Please stand for the pledge.
You really only have to do one of the.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
You need
which
5
stands
points.
one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
To graph our quadratics, we're always going to want 5 points. Yes.
When you already did that, you already saw one in the other point.
Yes, exactly.
And the distance between the vertex and the next point, you just triple it, and you get the next point after that.
Be careful with that. It's not always, possibly not always true.
I've noticed that last year as well.
Or we'll talk. We'll talk. Look at number 14. Really quick. Look at 14. What form is that in? Vertex form. So do you actually have to do any math to find the vertex? And then the steps are the exact same. So I think vertex is going to be our favorite. Because then once I have the vertex, what can I go set up? The table. And then you pick 2 points above and 2 points below. Very good. I would like you to work on all of them. The notes from yesterday and the one we did on the vertex homework should allow you to figure out how to do the vertex for intercept form. If you have a question, what are you responsible to do?
Remind.
Send me a question on Remind. I can answer you back immediately, right? You have all of the skills you need to do this. I will be here at D lunch today, so if anybody wants to come see me D to practice some of this or have like a working lunch, you're more than welcome to come. Can you please turn in the absolute value type 3? Who's going to collect it? Who can collect it for me? UN's collecting it. Thank you. Good job today. I'll post the video, but again, if you have questions, what are you going to do?
Remind.
Send me a question on Remind. Good job.
I think I need to sign into that again.
Whoever needs to re-sign up for Remind, come see me in the back.